Today about this epidemic of weight loss drugs that is going on, and I want to bring you back to a time when there was another huge surge in weight loss drugs and weight loss concerns, and it didn't go so well. And so I warn people about it a lot. I want to spend some time today talking to you guys about how to realistically achieve weight loss and what's really happening today, and give some cautionary details. So welcome in everybody who's jumping in. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to hear if you're struggling with weight loss or just health in general. Hang out because we're going to talk about a few things. I'd love to answer questions for everybody that's hopping in. But if you guys are old enough and you remember this journey before, where we had this crazy good weight loss drug that was created back, I think, in the 1970s, and it had this big impact, and people started using it. Clinics opened up doing nothing but promoting Phen-Fen and phentermine and phenylalanine, I think. Anyway, so there was this big, huge craze because it was really working for people losing weight. But the problem was that even though they thought the drugs were safe and they were pushing them out to everybody as being safe, they started causing heart valve problems. And as a result, the pharmaceutical company who created those drugs, long story short, ended up spending over $3 billion, $13 billion in damages paid out for that drug. And the FDA finally pulled it off the market and said, hey, this isn't safe. And then they tried to find other ways to get it into people, but it was destroying people's lives to lose weight. And I think we see that again in history. So we look at what's happening today, and there's this big craze at all costs, just whatever. I don't care. I just want the easy way out. I want to lose this weight. If you got some magic drug, it's going to tell me I'm going to lose weight. I don't care if it's going to kill my pancreas or my thyroid or my intestines. Just give me the weight loss drug. And so millions of people, I'm going to say millions, are injecting this drug that is potentially causing problems. And we're already seeing more and more lawsuits come out about it, from the gastroparesis, bowel blockages, from pancreatic failures, from thyroid issues. There's starting to be problems with liver and kidney issues. And so the caution is losing that weight worth the cost of your life? Or do you want to enrich your life and have weight loss that's sustainable and healthy? Osteoporosis is an issue as well. Oh, okay, perfect. So you know what? And I'd heard that. I just actually recently listened to someone who said that one of the things, and I think it was because I listen to so much stuff, so forgive me if I get it wrong, but I do believe it was a woman who was on the drugs long term. Yes, it was. As I recall now, I can see her face, and she was crying, and she was talking about how the thing that nobody told her with these drugs is that she lost a lot of bone density. Now she has osteoporosis. Now she has osteoarthritis. Those drugs are depleting your system. So, yeah, you're losing weight, but at what cost? So, there's a couple of things that are happening. Not only are the bowel blockages, the weakened bones, the thyroid, the pancreas, all of that happening, but when you lose weight with those drugs, some of them are causing you to lose about 40% of your weight in muscle mass and lean tissue. Osteoporosis is that lean tissue, right? So we have this instance where, yeah, you're losing a ton of weight, but you lose 100 pounds, and about 40 of it is actually tissue that your body needs to thrive and survive and move forward. And in destroying that 40% of lean tissue, it's slowing down your metabolism even more. So guess what happens when you come off of the drugs? You haven't fixed the root cause. You've made your metabolism worse over time instead of making it better. You come off the drugs, and now the problem comes back within a couple of years at most, and you start to gain back more weight. But when you gain back the weight, you're not gaining back 40 pounds of muscle and 40 pounds of fat. You're gaining back about 100 pounds of fat. You still have the muscle loss. It's really not the way, if you guys think about it, it's really not the way to live. And I know that it's tempting. Everybody gets to make their own choices. But if you're losing weight at the cost of your overall health, it's just not a good thing. And I would suspect that we're going to see more and more lawsuits against these medications and them being pulled off the shelves because of it. So here's the thing. There is a more natural solution. It's the one that I chose. It's the one that I used. I've lost over 55 pounds post-menopausal with no gallbladder, all these other things. But it's helped me maintain my weight, my diabetes, reverse my hypertension, reverse my bleeding teeth and gums, get my eyesight better, stop joint deterioration, stop my bone fragility. So one of the things with insulin resistance, I'm going to go off board a little bit here, is people don't understand insulin resistance is about more than just high insulin levels. It's about more than just excess weight. It's just about more than just getting the diagnosis of diabetes. When you have insulin resistance, you're not able to absorb nutrients like you're supposed to, not just the sugars, but nutrients. So now you're losing muscle already. So by the time you need those drugs, you've already lost muscle mass. Now you're going to lose more muscle mass to get the scale weight down. When what's really happening is you want to get the fat off your body, but the fat isn't always the indicator in the scale weight. When you reverse insulin resistance, you start putting on more of that lean mass while you're losing the fat. So the scale might not change as drastically in the beginning because you're building health. You're getting rid of the excess fat, but you're building muscle mass. And so how you want to do that is by supporting your body with nutrition. And that's what this protocol does. It fills in the gaps in our nutrition in today's world. So it's so much safer than those medications. Now, here's the thing with it. When they were doing Phen-Fen, I just saw a note, 1997, 123 deaths were reported with that. You guys, we're going to start seeing more and more of that. My prediction, my opinion is that with these Ozempic, Wegovy, all of these, we're going to see more and more of those things happening. So I just lost my notes. Word is not being the savior today. So let me get those notes open somewhere else. But with the GLP-1 drugs, so when we have when we're concerned about weight loss, what I want you to know is, number one, you guys, it's not all about calorie counting. It's not all about all this restrictive, crazy stuff. Yes, we need to watch the amount of carbohydrates we're eating. That's the biggest thing, and how often we're eating. So snacking and eating processed carbohydrates is the biggest problem. Susan, week 3 and haven't had any weight loss. So Susan, can I tell you a really quick story? Because you sound like me. In the beginning, chronically elevated cortisol induced your insulin resistance for decades. You blame the dirt. Soil is lacking, therefore American diet gut. And yes, all of that's true. So that's part of why our food isn't giving us the nutrients we need. So I'm going to come back to Susan's comment, but first let's deal with that. Yeah, we are not rotating crops. We are not refertilizing the soil. We're not taking care of the soil that our food is raised in. And if the soil isn't healthy and not able to give the produce that we're growing in at nutrients, we already are lacking nutrients. In fact, a lot of like beets are about 70% less dense in nutrients than they used to be. And most all produce is somewhere between 40 to 70% less dense in nutrients than it used to be 50 to 60 years ago. So that means we're already having a depletion of nutrients. And then you add insulin resistance on top of that, making it even harder for you to get in the nutrients that you need. And now we just have this spiraling problem. So Susan, let's go back to you. You've been on it about 3 weeks. I don't know if I'm your coach or not, but here's the thing. Weight loss is not fat loss. Okay, so I just explained a little bit. Insulin resistance. You have a hormone that's holding on to fat, but when it's holding on to fat, it's causing a lot of other disruption. So muscle doesn't get the energy it needs. You're not getting that built. You're getting more tired. So you're working out less. All of these things means you have less muscle density, but insulin is also disrupting how nutrients can get absorbed. So now we have foods that are less dense. You're getting less nutrients in. When you start on the system, the protocol, what happens is you're neutralizing your body. So they're a nutraceutical. They're giving you nutrients to give you health. So what happens is, as you start getting these nutrients, you're starting to put on more lean mass. Your bones don't regenerate like they're supposed to. Your ligaments and tendons don't regenerate like they're supposed to when you're insulin resistant. Your muscle isn't growing like it's supposed to. There's a lot of tissue that's solid, that's heavy, dense tissue in your body that you need to put on to be healthy. And in an insulin resistant state, you can't. So when you start reversing that with something like the protocol and you're getting nutrients in and you're getting these blood sugar spikes down, then your body can start to build that dense tissue more naturally. With me, what happened was I started this because I needed to reverse my diabetes. I needed to get rid of some weight because I needed to have a surgery. And so about a month in, Susan, I hadn't lost any weight. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to be really honest. I was pissed off. I'm like, I put all my hopes and dreams in this system and I haven't lost weight. And it's been a month. But then I got reminded about that your fat loss is not a weight loss on the scale. And so this is my one of my favorite stories. I had bought these shorts 4 years ago. They were denim, they had the rips in them, they were just really cool. I was going to be the cool kid for summer instead of the grandma fatty, right? And so I bought these shorts, too small, couldn't even buckle them up, but I was just bound and determined that that was the summer I was going to wear them. Long story short, 1 month into the system, I went and got those shorts that I couldn't buckle, that I couldn't get into, and they were already starting to be too loose. Now, my scale weight hadn't changed, but my body size definitely had changed, right? Shorts that I couldn't get into, I couldn't even buckle up. The legs were so tight, it was painful to walk. And like I have a small butt anyway, so like they were already tight in the butt. But now, a month in, they were loose in the legs, they were loose in the butt. I could buckle them easily. And as that visceral fat from my tummy came down over time with the system, then the shorts eventually were able to buckle up just fine. But the legs and butt were too loose. I think I forced myself to wear them 3 times and then I gave them away because they were too big. But by the time 6 weeks hit for me, Susan, I had lost, I think, like 15 pounds. Weight started coming off. By the time I went back to a nutritionist for the surgery, because I needed to lose 15 pounds for the surgery, I had already lost the 15 pounds. By the time I had the consult with my surgeon to say, could I have the surgery or not, which was focused on whether I lost that weight or not, I was down 25 pounds and she told me I had to lose 15. By the time I had the surgery a couple months later, so about 5 months in, I was down 55 pounds. And I was doing great until I had to have my gallbladder removed, and then it kind of stalled my weight loss. So anybody who's older and missing a gallbladder or younger and missing a gallbladder, especially for women, it makes it harder for you to lose weight. So understand that too. So I had to go back and figure out, hey, wait, why did I stop losing weight? And it was all around the gallbladder, but the gallbladder was damaged and had to be removed as a result of long-term hyperinsulinemia. That high level of insulin caused that cholesterol to build up and crystallize in my gallbladder, so much so that I ended up having my gallbladder removed, right? So and so just know that it will be harder for you to lose weight without a gallbladder, but without a gallbladder, with some of those things, you definitely, please do not go on those medications ever, because that's just going to make things worse. Your liver was sick, and that's what made your gallbladder sick. Okay. So if your gallbladder is gone and your liver was already sick and those drugs are making it worse, now it's like a worse problem. So Susan, there's a couple of things I do to handle the gallbladder issue. I take digestive enzymes when I eat, especially if I'm eating a bigger meal or one with carbohydrates in it. And sometimes I take bile salts if I'm having a bigger meal, just to help my body get that stuff broken down and out with no gallbladder. And the pre-meal drink also actually helps me with a lot of that as well. Hello, Lewis. So yeah, so you will start to lose weight, Susan. You just got to hold on and understand that your body is building health. So um I've worked with a lot of people who started noticing that, like, one of the things that I've noticed in society is that especially men's shoulders are flaccid. They're just like weak and not, there's no muscle there. It's because of the amount of insulin resistance we have, that even men in, who are not bodybuilders and whatnot, are having a hard time holding on to muscle. They're having a hard time holding on to testosterone. Their blood flow is less, so they're having erectile dysfunction and low testosterone numbers as well, all linked into insulin resistance, not just weight. So when you look at your overall health, if you understand that the biggest piece is linked to insulin resistance, then we've got to start learning how to make that better, right? Liver damage and kidney damage is scary stuff. Yeah, it is. So, Creep's wife, my liver got damaged because of long-term insulin resistance that nobody addressed. I've spent the last couple of years doing detoxes, doing whatever I could, red light therapy and castor oil once in a while, or oils just to help my liver get stronger again, as well as cutting out seed oils and cutting back on sugars as much as possible. And for me, I cut back on fruits and I don't drink fruit juices because they put a load on your liver. I hope you feel a lot better, Susan. Just stick with it. Give yourself the 90 days. You'll start to see it change. It's different for everybody. Some people, like I know I've had people who started losing weight right away, and I was like, damn you, why did you lose weight right away? And it took me so long. It's because all of our bodies are reacting differently. And genetics does play a part, but there's also this system of how your hormones are reacting, whether you have a gallbladder or not, whether you're in menopause, perimenopause, not, whatever, the anxiety, stress level. Somebody mentioned cortisol earlier. Cortisol is huge. You guys, there's one simple thing I'm going to show you again because I do it every once in a while when I'm feeling super anxious. I'll do this for a cortisol release. You guys ready? Because high cortisol does make high insulin, and that causes more of the problem. And then we're going to go back into the whole talk about GLP-1 and whatnot. So all you're going to do, you guys, for cortisol release, there's a couple of things you can do. You can lay on your belly with your head on your hands and just rock your hips back and forth really gently for a minute or so. That will help release some of the pent-up cortisol. But what you're going to do is you're going to grab your ears. This is going to look funny. You're going to grab your ears and pull up. Okay? Just pull up nice and tight on your ears and then start to rock your head back and forth. And immediately, as soon as I even grab my ears, I start feeling like I got a yawn. But that yawn is an indication of cortisol leaving my body. And the other thing you want to do is just kind of move your eyes side to side. You can roll them up and around, but you just want to move your eyes because we're so focused on phones and blue light and all this. Our eyes are not getting exercise, and we have that cortisol. That's a really quick way to release cortisol so that you can feel better. You can do it multiple times a day. Just whenever you start feeling that tension and stress, just do that and it will help. Okay, so now back to GLP-1 weight loss and all of the things going on. So GLP-1, it is glucagon-like peptide 1 that is produced in your gut. What happens with GLP-1 is that it gets produced when there's food in your system. It's one of the cues that your body has to go produce insulin to deal with the food. Insulin is anabolic. It's holding on to things, making things grow. Insulin carries the energy to the cells. Insulin unlocks the cells to let the energy in. But when insulin is out of control, all of those things start having problems. So now we have insulin resistance. And now we're not able to produce GLP-1 like we're supposed to. We're putting on fat more than we're supposed to. And we're just having cellular shutdown because our cells are not getting energy. So let's talk about it. Insulin resistance. I'm not one of the fancy people who has sugar cubes. I'm lucky to even have this sugar in my house, right? So I'm going to take my big old sugar thing here. So you guys, really, in your body, this is 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of sugar is about what's coursing through your veins as energy at any given point during the day. That's what's normal. When we start to add more sugar than that, our body says, ooh, even a 1/4 teaspoon more. Okay, this is how much is supposed to be in there. When we start to overload and we can't get the sugar out and we increase to even 1/4 teaspoon extra, now you're diabetic. It's that quick. That happened. But it doesn't happen right away because insulin starts to deliver that sugar out into the cells if it can, into cells that are greedy. I call them greedy cells, like the skin cells that create skin tags and acanthosis nigricans, or the interior cells of the lining of the blood vessels that get way too thick because they eat up too much energy. When insulin can't deliver the energy to all those cells, it starts delivering it to your storage unit or your fat cells. When the insulin, because it wants things to be held on to, it wants things to grow, it doesn't want things to break down. It's not going to let you break down sugars from your liver. It's not going to be able to let you break down fat from your fat cells. It's going to keep storing. As your fat cells get full, what happens is they start to spill that energy back out because they're self-preserving too. And they're like, oh, this is too much. If I take on any more, I'm going to explode. Now that energy is going back into your bloodstream. So that when the fat cells are full and you've had too much insulin too often and you have too much sugar, now you go from this in your bloodstream to this because the fat cells are full and now you're diabetic. So yes, it happens quick, but it takes a little time still too. This, by the way, when you start to have more sugar like this in your bloodstream, it's not just you guys. I used to think I worked in medical offices and I was like, oh, it's not that big a deal. What's everybody so worried about diabetes for? It acts like little glass shards in your bloodstream. Too much of it actually starts to cause tears in your bloodstream. Too much of it, and those tears getting too big is what actually is causing this downhill thing of um, cholesterol in your bloodstream. So, insulin resistance is at the root of all of that. Insulin resistance is what's making you gain fat. Insulin resistance is what's making you not be able to lose it. And that's happening because we're eating too much of this and we're eating too often. So when we're eating so much sugar through bagged, boxed, barcoded, packaged like chips and candy bars and cakes and cookies and donuts and noodles and pasta and all of that, we start to build insulin resistance and now we have a problem. Now we're in fat storage mode and we just can't burn fat. So if we understand that and we slow down on the snacking, we slow down on all the carbohydrate foods and start focusing on things like protein and fats, you're not counting calories. Who cares? By the way, I did a little talk on calories the other day. Calories, why we say calories don't count is not all calories are the same. That's a whole big other talk, but it takes more energy for your body to burn up or metabolize protein. So even though protein may have more calories, you're using more calories to burn it than you would a carbohydrate. So when you're looking at calories in your body, you want to know that you're focusing on the things that aren't spiking insulin and that are taking longer to burn. Now, because proteins take the longest to break down and burn, they keep you satiated or feeling full for longer. So focus on protein. The next most satiating food, and so proteins can spike your insulin a little bit, okay? Fats won't spike your insulin because they're not spiking your sugars, and they're the next most satiating food you have. So it's as simple as switching to proteins and fats over a carbohydrate laden diet. But most of us just don't feel like that we can do that. You guys, it doesn't have to be boring and it doesn't have to be chicken and broccoli and rice. It doesn't have to be that. Today, I'm doing a 36 and 12 every other day fast. Today, I've been craving crepes for a while. So eggs, water, little tiny bit of flour, and then I made a filling with cream cheese and cottage cheese and more eggs. And then I topped it with some natural preserves and sour cream. So there was a little bit of carbohydrates in it, but predominantly protein. Did I feel like I was missing anything today to have that yummy, yummy breakfast that was high in protein, high in fats, and had a little carbohydrates? No, I didn't. It doesn't have to be horrible, you guys. You don't have to be Puritans to do this. Now, what does happen though is when I do eat, I have this pre-meal drink. So I have the pre-meal drink because we're talking about GLP-1, right? GLP-1. It helps you with satiety. It helps you with energy. It helps you with producing the right amount of insulin. Guess what? There's fibers in this, specific fibers in this, like beta glucans, that help you create your own GLP-1. One of the problems with the injections is that you're not teaching your body to respond to food naturally. You're forcing a GLP-1 in through a route through your fat cells that stays there at a high amount for a long time, and that's never good. But what's also happening is when we've seen people like injecting testosterone or whatever, their body stops producing the right amount of the hormones. When you're injecting insulin, your body doesn't produce as much insulin as it should either. You're down regulating your hormone production. So, this though, with the beta glucans and some other things that are happening in here, increasing short chain fatty acids, lots of big words. All you need to know is that this has the right stuff in it to actually increase your own GLP-1 naturally. So it's like I just poured it in here. I'm going to give it a couple of shakes. Whoops, that lid is bent. And so I now have stuff all over my desk. But this is all I do before I eat to help slow down those sugar spikes, to help increase GLP-1, to help get nutrients actually into my body. And you can see already it's coating the side of this. I'm going to drink it down. I'm such a mess today. But you see how it's already starting to coat this jar. As it hits my gut enzymes, it's going to start to thicken up even more and coat my stomach. So for me, it works on a number of things. It helps me with my acidic gut from anxiety, high cortisol. It's just an indirect action. But overall, what's happening now is when I eat, if I eat after this live, um, the fibers in there are thickening up and they're at a stage, and this is soluble fibers that help with the GLP-1. And they're not found in the Metamucil benefiber stuff you're talking about or you're thinking about. This can reduce a blood sugar spike by up to 43%. And it's also increasing GLP-1, the stuff that people are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to inject so that they can feel satiated and not want to eat. But the second part of the system, the drink that I have twice a day, which is mixed up in here, this will also increase your GLP-1 naturally. So your body is creating it, not some synthetic thing that's being put in that's dampening your ability to create it later. This is actually helping your body create GLP-1. And here's the thing, GLP-1 is meant to ebb and flow. So it's not meant to be consistently high in your body all the time. GLP-1 is telling insulin to come out and do its job, get sugars out of the bloodstream. The other component, one of the other components to your metabolism or your metabolic freeway, whatever you want to call it, one side is insulin, which is anabolic, wants things to grow. The other side is glucagon, which wants to burn things up. Glucagon's other role is when you're not eating, glucagon comes out and starts to burn up fat for fuel. Well, when you have GLP-1 out, it's helping you utilize the food that's in your system. And if there's no food in your system, then it allows the glucagon to, hey, Michelle, it allows the glucagon to come out and do its job. But we don't want glucagon taking over while we still have food in our bellies, right? We want to be able to get rid of that energy and start being able to burn fat for fuel. The two products do it naturally without any of the side effects, without any of those problems. The only side effects are for this that I just drank. The side effects may be in the beginning, if you're not used to a high quality fiber or getting in enough fiber, you may have some gas, bloating, distension as your gut is getting healthier. It's like if you were in a wheelchair and being told to get up and walk 3 miles a day, your legs would hurt. That's what's happening because our guts have been so unhealthy. But this is helping our gut start to react normally so you can take in the nutrients that you need, so you can control the blood sugar, so you can start to feel better and actually lose weight. It's not about calories. It is about calories, but it's not. You guys don't count calories. You know when you're eating too much. Focus on the right types of foods like proteins and fats and getting in fiber before you eat. Now, why fiber before you eat? Because it's slowing down those sugars. It's allowing your body to deal with the sugars and whatnot that you're eating in a more natural way so that they're not overwhelming you and causing more insulin resistance problems. As a result, people lose weight. As a side effect of getting healthy, people lose weight. So let me go back and see if I can find my notes now. Does anybody have any questions so far? I just want you to know that there is a better way to get weight loss than to be injecting those drugs. Especially, it scares the crap out of me, you guys, because I've heard so many stories. I've seen so many people who are doing them and who report problems long term later on. And it frustrates me. Everybody gets to make their choice, but I it's hard to believe that someone would shorten their life, take themselves away from their family just to be thin. There's better ways around it. So, okay, guys, I am gonna head out, and unless somebody else has questions, I'm gonna head out, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Just please beware of the GLP-1. There is a better way. The system does help with that. Oh, and by the way, I've been seeing a number of people request the Six Simple Steps book. And so these six simple steps that I give you guys, whether you're in a country where the protocol is or not, you can do this. It's get fiber in first, but make sure you're getting in a variety of fibers. This is not a single source fiber. It's scientifically designed to help with blood sugar control, to help you start to get control of your insulin resistance, your weight loss, and your health overall. It has over 30 years of studies in this little packet that's specifically for your metabolism. And this is simply a highly concentrated form of yerba mate, so concentrated that it's about 375 times stronger than most any other yerba mate on the market in the main components like chlorogenic acids that are really causing that GLP-1 production, as well as giving you better energy and mood. So both of these products are natural, but they're found in the PDR. So the PDR is the prescriber's digital reference. They're not a medication, they're a nutraceutical, but because there's so much science behind these, like from the Cleveland Clinic, one of the top heart health hospitals in the world, the University of Sydney, the makers of the glycemic index, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, and so many more, we have a ton of science behind it. So all you need to know is that it works. It's not just a fly-by-night, somebody says yerba mate is great, so we're going to put a yerba mate product out there. It's also standardized and it's purified so that you're not getting microplastics, molds, and pesticides in it like you do with other tea drinks. So there's that. If you're interested in it, just go to the link in my bio. All of the information is there. And the Six Simple Steps ebook you can find there too for free. So these are the six simple steps, and then go, if you're interested, go download the ebook so you can read through it and understand. But what it is fiber first. You want to get that fiber in and get it activated in your gut so that it starts to help you feel fuller, so you're less likely to overeat. It's going to start to slow down carbohydrate absorption from the foods that you eat later. Then you're going to eat protein, because remember, protein is the most satiating and only spikes insulin about half as much as carbohydrates do. Plus, it's giving you a ton of other building blocks and enzymes that you need. Then you're going to not fear fats and fill up with them. But fats like avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, butter, ghee, those are the fats you want to focus on. Those seed oils, canola oil, corn oil, all of that, they have inflammatory properties, one of them being linoleic acid that can cause cellular inflammation, and that cellular inflammation can worsen insulin resistance. So we don't want to do that, right? Plus, that inflammation throughout your gut and your body causes a whole bunch of other problems, IBS, Crohn's, all of those things that are happening. So don't fear fats. Limit your carbs, especially bagged box barcoded ones. You guys, you want to stick to the carbs that are grown above ground, dark colored, so that you're getting nutrients. That dark color means nutrients. Eat the skin. Stop taking the skin off and use those for carbohydrates. Now, within that, let's take a look at it. So we have three macros. Hey, Maria. We have three macronutrients in our food: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. So I want you to understand this, because most people don't. If it's not a protein and it's not a fat, it is a carbohydrate. So yes, fruits, vegetables are carbohydrates. Bread, rice, pasta, those are carbohydrates too. It just depends on how much fiber is attached to them, where they land on the glycemic index. So high glycemic means that it has not got very much fiber, and when that happens, it turns into sugar too quickly, causing blood sugar spikes. Low glycemic index means there's more fiber with it, so it's not spiking your blood sugar as high. Okay, so that's why we put in the fiber first, because we can't control how the foods were raised or packaged that we're eating. If you can cook from scratch, do that. I love doing that more than anything lately. Um, but that's it. So fiber first, prioritize protein, fill with fats, limit your carbs. There are a couple of other things in the book too. So 5 and 6 are do some time-based eating. We've got to stop eating so often. When we're eating, we're continually spiking our blood sugar. So we want to stop that. That's why we do some 16-8 fasting, meaning I just don't eat for 16 hours. And then I keep my eating to an 8-hour window and more like two larger meals in that 8-hour window. I don't count calories. I count protein. I make sure I'm getting in fats and I make sure I limit my carbs. And then I eat till I'm full. That's it. And I'm healthier now than I was in my early 40s, and I'm 61. So there's that. The last one then is move your body. You guys, and I'm going to admit I haven't been doing enough of this myself. You got to get up and move. There are so many, you guys, there's so many places on YouTube that don't require you to go to a gym and do big heavy weight workouts and all that. Things like Tai Chi Warrior or whatnot. Just move your body. Get up and do it. Like I have a little timer that goes off so I can get up and do some squats or do some kind of whole body movement, once an hour so that my body is moving more because we're sitting at desks too often. And when we're not using muscles, we're becoming more insulin resistant. There are two other things in there. One has to do with sleep and one has to do with blue light, but you'll have to get the ebook to get those couple of bonus things. And it's in my profile link. You guys, I'll put it on Facebook, YouTube over here. And then I will be back tomorrow. Generally, I talk about health issues related to insulin resistance, but we'll just talk about whatever comes up overnight that somebody feels like they need to have answered. So, you guys, the thing with the protocol is this. I, 4 years ago, was 55 pounds heavier. My health was failing. I didn't believe I would live past 65. My health was in such bad condition. I had a walker, I had a cane, I had disability plates on my car. I was headed toward a wheelchair. I couldn't, like, there was days when I took about 3 or 4 steps and I would have to stop because my joints would fail and my knees would slip in and out of joint, and I would have to stop and wait for my muscles to pull them back in so I could take a few more steps. People wondered why I did this halting walk. That was why. And it was so painful. I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to hold on and not cry until those joints went back in. I don't have those issues anymore. I lost the 55 pounds. I lost my bleeding teeth and gums. My eyesight got better. My sleep apnea went away. My joints stopped failing. My skin tags went away. My dark skin patches went away. My gut issues started getting better. My skin got better. You guys, when you get insulin resistance under control, it's not just your weight, it's the entirety of your health. 95% of our health disorders today are linked to insulin resistance. It's that important. Because if you want to know how to take care of it, just reach out to me and I'm more than happy to get you on track with getting your health back in a more natural, sensible way that you can sustain for a lifetime and then go about and enjoy your life. All right. What did I do, Priscilla? Let's answer that for you. I simply, after I tried everything else, I went to a doctor. She was giving me medications. I couldn't tolerate them. We ended up throwing a bunch of those out. I was on 13 medications 4 years ago. And like many other people, I was suffering and I was just like, I need something. Why can't anybody help me? And I stumbled on a video much like this one. And the guy was talking about these products, these two, a tea in the morning, a tea in the afternoon, and a pre-meal drink that I have before I eat anything. And I'm going to be super honest with you guys. In the beginning, I thought, yeah, whatever. It's not going to work. But at the same time, I was like, but I got to try something. I got to try. And so I ordered it. It has a 90-day money back guarantee. If in 90 days you're not happy with the changes in your health, you get your money back. So it's risk-free. Just give yourself the time to get better, right? So all I do, and I do it this way. You have a tea in the morning, you have a tea in the afternoon, or whatever part in the day when you start to feel like you're hungry or need more energy. I mix both of mine up because they're supposed to be about 20 ounces of water. I mix both of mine up in one big stainless steel mug, 40 ounces, and then I just sip on it all day. If I run out of this and I want another one, I can have another one. It's just going to help my mood, my energy, my satiety. It helps me with growth hormone and ketones when I'm drinking it. So that's it. And it costs me less than a soda or any of those other drinks would. So I just drink this or water. Now, that also has almost every vitamin and mineral in it that's needed to sustain life. I don't take vitamins and minerals anymore. I get so much from this system that that's all I have to do is the system. So that's it. A tea in the morning, a tea in the afternoon, and a pre-meal drink. I just mixed it up in water just now and drank it down. Now, when I'm ready to eat, my gut's covered and I'm able to slow down blood sugar spikes. That's it. No crazy diets, no weird pills, no none of that stuff. 16/8 eating. I help coach you through that. This simple system, and you'll be surprised. I've had people who said, "I'm so food addicted. There's no way I could do this." Um, and day one, they were calling me back saying, "What's in that? I can't believe I'm not thinking about food." And it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's never happened to me. It's about $5 a day, Priscilla. So less than a Starbucks a day. And that's all three pieces, right? So it's both teas and one pre-meal drink, $5 a day for the whole thing. So what, about $1.76 for each one? And then, so here's the thing, Priscilla, I've been doing it for 4 years. I will do it for the rest of my life. And why? Why will I do that for the rest of my life? Because I now know how defunct our food is and why I was sick in the first place. What this is doing is it's allowing me to live my life. Um, so like the crepes that I had with blackberries on it and sour cream, and it was predominantly protein, but I still didn't have to worry about the carbohydrates because I just had this first. That slowed down the carbohydrate absorption so it didn't spike my blood sugar. So now my blood sugars are all in range. My labs are all in range now. If I went to a doctor today and the last time I had an annual, there was nothing on my labs that would indicate I was diabetic or had hypertension at all. And we fought it for 30 years and 13 different medications. So I will do this every day for the rest of my life or until they fix our food. But the problem is that our foods are like somebody, crazy creeper's wife or whatever, said, we're not rotating crops, we're not repleting our soil, we're not giving our food back what we need to be able to ingest and get the nutrients we want. So it's more than just about blood sugar control for me. It's all the other nutrients that I need that are building health from the inside out. So you can stop at any time, but let's think about this. If we know that we're getting dirty every day and we take a shower, say we take a shower for 3 months at a time, 3 months in a row, and then all of a sudden at 3 months, we're like, I'm good. I showered for 3 months. I showered for 90 days. Would you stop showering for the rest of your life? If you're eating food, today's modern food, and you know that the deficiencies in it are what made you sick, why would you ever stop correcting it until it's corrected itself? So I'll be doing it. My kids know. If I'm ever in a wheelchair, you better make sure I'm still getting my stuff. Or if I'm ever like debilitated, you better make sure I'm still getting my protocol because it's the one thing that gave me my life back. 4 years ago, I couldn't get up and down off the floor. I couldn't kneel. There were so many things I couldn't do. And now, am I spry like I was when I was 21? No, but I can get up and down off the floor. I have sword fights and wrestling matches with my grandkids. I crawl in the play places to play with the grandkids. I do all the things I want to do. Yeah, I'm slowed down a little bit. I'm 61 and not 35 anymore, but I have my health back. My kids aren't worried about me. By the way, Alzheimer's was a real thing, a real concern. My son didn't say anything for a very long time, but when I started getting better, he finally admitted to me that he was concerned because I was forgetting things. I was losing track of where I was. I was having some severe issues with my memory and leading into dementia, and that's all resolved as well. You guys, this is so much more than a weight loss protocol. This is about your whole health. And if you understand that 95% of our chronic illness, from gout to Alzheimer's, is linked to insulin resistance, and that if you take care of the insulin resistance, the entirety of your health will start to feel better. And this is how I view it. I'm not going to say that this protocol is going to fix everything in the world for you. That would be a snake oil salesman, right? But what I can tell you is, if insulin resistance, hey Alma, it's good to see you. If insulin resistance is at the root of 95% of what we're suffering with, and if we can clear that out of the room, because I used to work in medical, here's the thing. You get all of those other symptoms, all of that other crazy stuff out of the way. You start to feel better. And if you still have something that's bothering you, now it's easier for a physician to go in and see what's actually happening. Most are not trained to look at insulin resistance and recognize that it's causing things like joint deterioration, teeth and gums bleeding, headaches, memory problems, cancer, joint problems, gut problems, skin problems. They're looking at each one of those things separately, and you're just being given more and more medications that aren't fixing the cause, right? So when I was on 13 different medications, that was about $130 a month in copays. Plus, I was at the doctor's office twice a month. Plus the time and gas and everything to run to the doctor and to run to the pharmacy and to da 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 da. I don't have one single medication in my cupboard now at all. No thyroid medication, no hormones at 61, no pain relievers, no heart things, no statin drugs, no hydrochlorothiazides to get water off. I don't have any prescriptions in my cabinet. Would I rather pay $5 a day, continue to build health and continue to have health, or stop and go back to all the medications? It has red lip beauty. It has some naturally occurring caffeine. The yerba mate plant has some naturally occurring caffeine, but can I talk to you about caffeine for a second? Because it's a little different in this plant than in like your Red Bull, Monster Energy, Bang Energy coffee. So yeah. So what happens with it is Red Lip Beauty. You have a 90-day money back guarantee. What I would say is try it. And if you're super sensitive to it, only mix up, like you could mix it up in a big mug like I do, and then just sip a little bit at a time. Um, Alma, let me give you my number and you can just text me. And if you guys need to reach out to me, on my link tree in my profile, there's a way. If you're in the US, that's fine. You can just text me direct. Always text me first because I'm often on the phone. Or if you prefer to use WhatsApp, please use WhatsApp. I have a WhatsApp, and that way it's encrypted and safe for you and me both, and I'm down with that. Okay, so you're super sensitive to it. So here's the thing with caffeine and morphine. So I would start out and just try it and see how sensitive you are to it. And if it's just not working for you, just send it back. The company sends your money back. But the caffeine in this has some other molecules attached, things like theobromine, mate saponins, chlorogenic acids, and there's a few others. What they do, they're called adaptogens. So what's happening with most caffeine that you're getting in, it doesn't have any of these that they balance. So if you think of like a woman walking a tightrope, and she's got a bar she's holding on to, right? And so if she's trying to balance and she puts caffeine on one side, that stick is going to tip and throw her off of balance. But with the mate saponins, the theobromine, and the chlorogenic acids, those adaptogens, I'm not going to get into too much about those, but what they do is they balance that back out. So now instead of it's the stick tipping, now you've got weight on the other side that's helping balance it. So you get energy without jitters, without all the headaches, without all the other problems. And the tea has components in it that are heart healthy. So I had a blood pressure of 180 over 150 every single day. I was terrified at first because I thought I don't do stimulants because they're so bad for my heart. But guess what? Because of the system and because of the components in there, even though it had caffeine in it, my blood pressure normalized. My blood pressure now, no medications, is 110 over 74 every single day. Okay. So does it help heal that up? Yes, it does. If your blood pressure is low, it normalizes it. So it's not like your blood pressure is low, it's going to go lower. Okay. It's stabilizing things. Um, oh, John Favor. You guys, I love that people are so invested. But you know what? What really disturbs me when I take the time and energy to go study, learn, and give you guys information, um and somebody wants to come in and start talking about some doctor with some magic herbal remedy. I don't know why people have to be such spammer scammers, but let's not do that. So this, by the way, does have the company that started this all was has been around since 1903. The current iteration of the company is privately owned. It's this products are not going to change. We're committed to metabolic health, so it's not some weird protocol. By the way, hey Dale, we have so many naturopathic practitioners who used to give their clients these big written up outlines of stuff like I did the medical medium. I got to find that book. It's on this case back here. But I did all the stuff, you guys. I created spreadsheets and I did all the blueberries and black seed oil and kale and lemons and ginger and like I just had this and I made these shakes every day to try and get all of this under control. And I did it, but it wasn't sustainable. What happens when I travel? I can't take frozen blueberries and all that and a blender on the plane with me. No, I can't. But I can take this and mix it in water, right? So this makes it so sustainable, you guys. When I'll be going back to Washington State this summer. I just went down to Georgia last weekend. I'll be making some other trips. When I travel, do I have to worry about having a blender? Finding wild blueberries, taking black seed oil with me that's probably not going to make it through the airport, taking all of this stuff with me. I don't have to worry about it. I put this in my carry-on. I take one of these or one of these with me and I fill it up on the other side of security and I just mix it in water and I'm good to go. Easy peasy. And if I'm on an airplane and they only have like high carbohydrate foods and I don't want to do that, I can just have my tea. If I want to have that, I just have an extra pre-meal drink. It makes life easy to get your health back. That's the biggest part of this. Dale is on the system and it's done great things for her, but you guys, it's such an amazing simple system that is actually adding your health back and giving you back what's been stripped out so that um, you don't have to worry about all this stuff. And it's addressing the root cause. So it's not just masking symptoms and making other things worse. It's addressing the root cause of why we're sick today. And it's as simple as a tea in the morning, a tea in the afternoon, and a pre-meal drink before you eat. That's it. Like I said, I had crepes today. I had to shift my 36 and 12 fasting a little bit. So I'm going to be a little bit shy of 36 hours tomorrow. But tomorrow night is family night. My family wants to play a game we call the train game. It's called Ticket to Ride. And then we've decided to reinstitute Indian food night. So we're going to be having like butter chicken or tikka masala and some naan. And I might be making some palak shot, something. But we're going to have a meal that's not in basmati rice. So we're not going to have like totally carb-free dinner tomorrow. And I want to enjoy dinner with my family. So I'm going to just take this with me. And to make it through my day, I'll be drinking the tea so I have enough energy to deal with everyone. And that's it, you guys. If I want to make cookies with my grandson on the weekend, I get to do that. Like he's 8 years old. He has a debilitating disease. I think about it a lot. Um, I just want him to have every good experience that he can have, and if that means I let that little boy have cookies and stuff once in a while, so be it. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna take care of our health in the meantime, and that's how everyone should be able to live. Do I think you should sit down and eat donuts all day? No, I don't. But do I think you should have the freedom to have that stuff once in a while because this is a real life? Yeah, I do. I do. His life is tough enough. We don't need to make it harder. So just give the protocol a shot. I will be back tomorrow. We'll talk some more. And know that there's a better way to get weight loss than through those GLP-1 drugs. And watch out because I'm getting more and more notifications from lawsuits via email, via text message for those GLP-1 drugs. And I think that in the next few years, you're going to see the damage that they can do because they jumped into it way too quick, and I just don't feel like it's a healthy way to do this. So, a more natural way that supports your body, that's the way you wanna do it. Okay, you guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Thanks, you guys.